Hello, it's Rafael Gutierrez. Welcome to our channel. I've been trying this a few times and I keep on either rambling one side or going the other. And so today I'm just going to talk about education and martial arts. Now, if you read history, you realize that education and martial arts has a long history together. If you look at the roots of most of Okinawan karate or most Japanese martial arts, you'll notice that many of the people who were involved were highly educated. Uh, I'll use Okinawa for an example. If you look at most of the names that came out of Okinawa, they were officials of a Shuri castle or merchants. And usually they were sent to China after their studies in Okinawa. They were sent to China mainland to learn, pretty much continue learning. They would actually use the equivalent to the Chinese university system so they could return and get the jobs that would help run the country. Now, even today, you do have a lot of people who are looking at martial arts and they are looking at it through an academic eye. There are some people who are doing it through a pseudo-academic eye. What I mean is some people are actually using what they know to determine what everything is. Other people are taking books they're not understanding and slapping something together and claiming that, hey, I understood this, so I'm writing about this. And when you read it, if you know what they're talking about, you realize that they have no idea what they're talking about. Now, some people say, well, an academic isn't really that important, but then you have to ask yourself, if it's not important, then why is it that a lot of these frauds give themselves degrees like, oh, I'm Dr. So-and-so, and I earned my degree from, so-and-so university, and you find out that so-and-so university was developed by them for their martial art program. There's a reason why people lie or make up stuff to give themselves title. It's because it does even now, carry some credibility. For instance, I can actually say I am Rafael H. Gutierrez, MD. I do have an MD. I do not practice, but I do have it. Someone else can say, oh, well, I'm Dr. So-and-so, and they may have given themselves a doctorate, or they can have a doctorate in English. And if they have a doctorate in English, if they're talking about the history of certain authors or the time period of certain authors or, how certain authors wrote, you can believe them. But if they have a PhD in English and they're writing about human body, it's kind of a little hard and shaky to do it. That's why, educational systems usually will have a set group of majors that can teach certain classes. So for instance, if I'm teaching a general biology class, I might be qualified to teach other biology classes, but I wouldn't necessarily be able to walk into a physics class and say, yep, I'm qualified to teach physics. Although I have met people who've done that recently. So the thing that I'm trying to say is, yes, education and degrees do have value. And they have to have it because it does show you what a person knows. Now, there are some people who get honorary degrees. And what that is they actually work their way to a point where a university is saying, yeah, they have a doctorate in XYZ because we've seen their work. I wouldn't mind having a honorary degree. Have people call me doctor. But besides that, what I'm saying is academia is important, and it's important because you have certain set of things which are peer reviewed. Now, there is something that has happened, and it is recent, and I do blame the administration of the academic system in part, but only in part. And that is this. People are downplaying the role of education. For instance, you actually have some people who will say, oh, education, they're just making people liberal. Well, let's be honest. When you're educated and your mind is more open to new ideas because you've seen how many times you've been wrong and you're progressing, you're going to be more liberal. It's just the way it is. You're going to be more open to ideas. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be open to everything, but it means that you can say, well, look, how is this going to affect me? If the answer is it doesn't, well, hey, to each their own. If it is, well, then that's the other thing. And the reason that I think that this is happening is because of something I noticed. I was watching movies last night with my girlfriend, and I actually had her watch Fantasia. She'd never seen it before. And I remembered that there was one part, which it was biological evolution. Now, what's interesting is I never heard anyone say, "Oh, we, it's a controversial video because it has biological evolution." It it pretty much had biological evolution, and the way it was presented is this is what scientists tell us how life came on Earth, and it was left at that. Now, I had a friend who was a engineer back in the 50s. He passed away recently, a couple of years ago, and he was telling me about how it used to be if you were a researcher in aerospace engineering. He said he would see where the technology was. Then he'd write, okay, based on where we are here, if we can find these little things here, we can jump up here. And to do that, we need X amount of money. And so they'd ask whoever they were working for X amount of money to be able to come out with these new techniques, new technology. Now, people who actually were involved in giving money for research would look at this and say, look, we want to make sure that you get this done and that you don't have to come back and ask us for more. So we're going to give you a bit more money. That way you can actually finish what you have to. And what's funny is he told me that a lot of times they weren't even interested in you getting to the point that you thought you were going to get. They just wanted you to shoot for there so you can actually get really close and figure out what's the other technology you need. So as soon as you find out how to fix one thing, you have the other area that you're going to have to fix. And that's the way it used to be. Now, think about it. This is the way scientists did. People respected scientists enough for if they told you that they needed $100,000, you'd give them $150,000. Somewhere along the line, this actually changed. Right now, even though we see that science has given us more technology, I talk about it, it's like you think about it, I'm doing this on a laptop computer. I have a cell phone that has a camera that's probably better than some of the digital cameras that I bought back when they actually still made digital cameras. I don't know if they, low-end digital cameras. And our technology keeps going up, and we keep on pretty much you look at where the money is in the economy, and it's all technology driven. Very little outside of technology is making money. Actually, and it's interesting, there was a article in Bloomberg's which was showing which jobs are going to be knocked out in the coming years, and it was mostly jobs that did not have you working with technology. If you were working with technology and had a degree, you were safer than if you weren't. If it's a service job that didn't require any education, your job is probably on the cusp of getting cut off. And when I say education, I don't just mean college. I mean, if you think about contractors, construction, there is an education. There is internships. There is apprenticeships that go through there. That type of education too. But so what they were saying is, yes, there's going to be a lot of jobs lost because technology keeps moving forward. You can't stop technology. Once you have it, especially the way we've been going, once we have it out, it's out. So anyways, going back. So we do have this really odd attack on technology, which didn't exist before. Back when most people talk about, when America was great, it wasn't that America was better than it is today. What it was is there was a feeling of the future being better. If you want the future to be better, if you want to know that the future is going to be better, you better invest in education. I mean, your own, not just, in the country too. I mean, you think about it. Bloomberg News is talking about, and this is what I tend to use for my news, is saying that, soon people are going to be losing their jobs because they're made redundant through technology. But anyways, going back to college. So anyways, this gentleman, when he told me he wanted, he wanted to teach, he wanted to do this, but he didn't want to get a master's degree. And I know that he didn't necessarily want to be a professor. He just wants to teach martial arts. And his thing is, well, why shouldn't they just pick someone at the black belt and have him teach at a university? Well, at one point they used to, but that was actually when, martial artists were coming from Japan. They had some sort of record. They were able to prove that they knew something. Now most people hold a certificate. Yeah, I got my 10th degree black belt from Bubba Gump's School of Martial Arts and Shrimping. I'm not knocking it. I know that there are actually a lot of great martial arts which actually are outside of some other business. So I actually met a gentleman who owned a mechanic shop, and upstairs he had his studio, and he was a great martial artist. He taught great, and it's what brought his money was a mechanic shop, and upstairs, that's it. There's some historic ones um, where there were grocery stores, a stock room in the back, and that's what they used. But what I'm actually saying is, nowadays, a lot of people, anyone can make their certificate, and it's like, oh, here I am. I'm 10th Dan because I say I am, or I have 12 of my friends say that I'm a 10th Dan, and are they going to argue with me? And so we don't really have a way to see if these people are legitimate. So what they do is they have the master's degrees, so you can actually see if this person is qualified to teach it. Now, let's take this to the student who is actually thinking, okay, well, look, I do martial arts and I do want to go to college, but I have no idea how to choose a major. I don't want to take classes that are just take classes for taking classes. And for those people, I'm going to actually recommend two books. One is called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is probably a book that's on everyone's you should read list. And the other is a book called Live Rich, Die Broke. Both of these are going to give you different things to look at while you're actually 18 and are able to do different things. Now, one of the things that I'm going to tell you, it's something that I've been asked, is how to choose a major. If you're in martial arts and you want to choose a major, and you want to choose a major that will help pursue your martial arts, there's actually a lot of things you can do. I mean, pretty much you could do whatever. If you do Okinawan karate, you can do Japanese as your major. I would tell you, if you're thinking of doing that, take some Japanese classes before you choose that as your major. You can do history and history of Asia if you wanted to. You could actually major in human biology. You can major in kinesiology, which is how the body moves. You can major in physics and history. I mean, there's so many different majors depending on what you want to learn about your art. If what you want to learn about your art is how to move better, then there's actually two majors that you really should be looking at. That's kinesiology and human biology. Now, physics would be another one too, but that's that's actually more geared for other things. Mechanical engineering, another one that would be great, engineering in general. But if you want two majors that are specific for the body and body movements, human biology and kinesiology. Now, the other major I actually tell people to look at is sometimes they have a major, it's called either liberal arts or liberal studies, or I can't remember, it has different names, but what it is it's a major where you can almost design your major. What I mean is you can say, okay, well, I'm going to be doing this major, and yes, I need to take these exploratory classes. But that exploratory classes, one of them might be you have to take a anatomy class. So you take the anatomy class because it'll help you learn more about the human body. And so you can design your major taking the exploratory classes that you want, so it roughly follows your major. And what you can do is you can end up taking classes that make your martial arts, make you understand your martial art better using the science. There's a lot more to this. There's one thing that a lot of people tell me, okay, well, I'm going to college, how do I pay for it? There's actually a lot of different ways. There are some people who go to the military. That's one possibility. There's people who take out student loans. That's one possibility. If you do take out student loans, though, remember, you have to pay those back eventually. So don't necessarily use them for a trip to Cancun. There's some people who what they do is they go to the financial aid office, and a lot of people think, oh, well, I have to be poor or I have to be this. You can go to financial aid office and you can find grants and scholarships for pretty much anything, and you can go and just shotgun apply to everything. And when you do that, that would make it easier for you to actually get money. Community colleges, if you're in the U.S., are probably if you're struggling to get money to pay for it, are probably some of the best ways to do it. But I would actually tell you to already have a university in mind to talk to, hopefully one locally, so you can ask them what classes they want you to take are. The reason is sometimes when you talk to people, they're trying to give you the shotgun approach on how to go into every university from San Diego to Alaska to Florida. And you may only be interested in going to one or two colleges, so you have to talk to those colleges and see what the classes they want you to take are. That way you don't waste time. You can take the classes you want and then transfer to the university if you want to get a bachelor's. And there's always a lot more for academia. If there's anyone who has any ideas or anything that I missed in academia which you would like to share, please put it on the comment below. If there's any websites that you recommend for people who are looking for where to go to education, please look at the comments. Please put it on the comments below and let people know. Besides that, I'll thank you for watching and hope that you'll consider going to Amazon, either buying Off the Rails or Serious on the Rarest Things. Just so you know, Off the Rails is a train trip from San Diego to California where I stop by and train in different martial arts. Serious on the Rarest Thing is based on a 3-month stay I had in Okinawa when my dad died, my sensei died, and a friend of mine died. All of them died, and I took off. So hopefully these are things that might interest you, and you might just consider supporting my channel by buying and reading them. Thank you, and have a good day.